Report to the Marshal. Something big has happened. Saudi Arabia has actually joined hands with the United States to carry out airstrikes on Yemen. The Houthi forces were forced to split their forces to deal with it. The United States carried out airstrikes on Cameron Island, and Saudi Arabia carried out airstrikes on Sada province in Yemen. Could it be that Saudi Arabia has been bribed by the United States? In my opinion, perhaps these two are playing a trick. In order to win over Saudi Arabia, the United States lifted restrictions on arms exports to Saudi Arabia. But has the United States forgotten that they are now in a classmate relationship, and Saudi Arabia has already reconciled with the Houthi forces? How could such a thing happen? However, under pressure, Saudi Arabia had to agree. After all, Saudi Arabia cannot completely fall out with the United States for now. Why? Because the United States still has some military bases in Saudi Arabia. If they really fall out, there will be a fight. We all know that Saudi Arabia has always preferred to solve problems with money rather than resort to force. The place where Saudi Arabia bombed this time is also quite interesting. They bombed the desert of the Houthi forces randomly, leaving the United States speechless. In contrast, the Houthi forces were extremely angry. If they fought back against Saudi Arabia, it would surely be the US military bases that suffered. Let's take a look at Iran. Iran's navy conducted military exercises yesterday and sank several warships. This is clearly aimed at the United States. The United States sent an aircraft carrier over, which is to prove that Iran has the ability to strike their aircraft carrier. Then why hasn't Iran taken action yet? Have you noticed that whenever Iran says it will fight, the United States increases its deployment in the Middle East? If Iran says this a few more times, won't the United States have to move all its troops over? When the real fight starts, the United States will be completely trapped in the Middle East and won't be able to escape. So, Iran is playing a waiting game. Now the US military presence in the Middle East is not weak. There is already a nuclear submarine, along with the upcoming Lincoln aircraft carrier strike group. Altogether, there are 3 aircraft carriers, with about 40,000 troops. The Marine Corps accounts for 1/3 of the US maritime forces. This is why they don't attack Israel. This is a strategic direction. What China and Russia want is for the United States to get involved, not Israel. In addition, Iran has raised the black flag, expressing its determination. The Minister of Israel led a raid on the compound of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is a very serious matter. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is a sacred place for the entire Islamic nation in terms of emotions and religious beliefs and is absolutely inviolable. Israel has completely aroused public anger. Iran raising the black flag implies anger and revenge, which has made the cohesion and combat effectiveness of Middle East countries stronger, and the subsequent attacks are expected to be more fierce because of Iran's actions. Israel's air defense forces were too scared to close their eyes all night and were exhausted. Iran issued a statement asking the world to ignore those remarks, saying that Iran dares not retaliate because they are all part of the public opinion war of Israel and the United States. We are actively preparing for war. After all, this is a big and protracted battle. There is another piece of news. The Taliban regained power in Afghanistan and held a humiliating military parade 3 years later. They were all using American equipment, and everyone was singing "Listen to Me," and then posted the video on American websites. The American people were completely outraged, saying it was too shameful. After attacking the Taliban for 20 years, they finally fled in defeat and gave Afghanistan billions of dollars worth of equipment for free. Heh, let us talk about Hamas. They also started frantically launching M90 missiles at the capital of Israel. The Iron Dome urgently launched several interceptor missiles, but still failed to intercept them. The ground in the capital of Israel was shaking. While in panic, Israel was also puzzled. Hamas hasn't launched missiles for a year. Where did these missiles come from? Israel occupied Gaza and dug 3 feet deep, but still couldn't find the missiles. They are still wondering where Hamas missiles came from. In fact, Hamas has many backers. As long as Hamas really wants to fight, there will definitely be more missiles. Moreover, the way Hamas launched the missiles this time was also very novel. They directly supported the missiles with wooden frames and calculated the accuracy with a spirit level. Marshall, what's your opinion on this?
再探